Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our today's webinar dedicated to FRILO software and FRILO structural analysis and design solutions. My name is Wiktoria Rakowska, and I am responsible for partner management and international sales at FRILO Software headquarters in Stuttgart. And I'm here together with my colleague Alexander Schaum.
Hello from Dresden. My name is Alexander Schaum, and I'm a working student here at FRILO GmbH.
Okay, thank you, Alexander. A couple of words on our today's agenda. In the beginning, we will introduce our company. We'll give you a couple of information about our structure and our portfolio. In the end, we will be able to answer all of your questions that you are welcome to put into the questions area in your GoToWebinar panel or into the chat. And after the company introduction, we will switch to the FRILO user interface, and I will guide you a little bit over our user environment of the FRILO programs and project management interface. After that, we will go back to our slides, and Alexander will show you how you can download FRILO on your own and test it for 30 days. Then he will explain you the licensing model and the possibility how you can get the license of FRILO. So let's start, and let's begin with a company introduction.
Yeah, I start with a company introduction. So FRILO Software GmbH has been offering more than a powerful and user-friendly solution for more than 40 years and has also become the leading provider in this field in the German market. Victoria, can you click the next one so you can see it? Yeah. We have more than 100 solutions, which meets the requirement of a structural engineer every day. We have approximately 6,000 customers with 48,000 users, and our team consists of 64 people. Yeah, we only have engineers in our development department with a broad experience in the field of structural engineering. So they understand the needs of the customers in the best way. Our program can be used intuitive, so it's pretty easy to operate them. Also, we have a very qualified service team. There's also the product management team, and we improve the solution through constant contact with our customers. Our programs are adapted to the latest standards. We support the Euro codes, the national annexes codes in Germany, Italy, Austria, Poland, and in the UK. On the bottom, you can see our portfolio. Amongst them, we have the timber roof, steel, the reinforced concrete, foundation soil analysis, and the last four categories with the document designer, the continuous DLT. But Victoria will tell you later about that in a more detailed way.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Now let us just deep dive into each of the categories of each of the material categories that are represented in the FRILO portfolio. The first one is solid construction. And under solid construction, we understand reinforced concrete masonry design solutions, as well as finite elements programs for walls and slabs. One example of a very popular reinforced concrete program is, of course, our reinforced concrete column B5 Plus. We have a very good program for punch and shear analysis, also widely used by our customers. And an example of a masonry program is a multi-story masonry wall. In the timber and roof category, we can speak of the comprehensive Dach Plus, which is roof plus solution that allows you to calculate different roof types. Another example is the D10 Plus, which is glued laminated girder, or HNV Plus, mechanically jointed beams. As I told you, these are only several examples out of a broad category which comprises a lot of different programs for timber and roof design. The next category in our overview is the steel category. that comprises in particular fin plate, steel frame, or portal frame. And last but not least, foundation and soil analysis category. Examples are cantilevered retaining wall, basement wall, or stripped foundation. We have recently taken over another company, which is called DC Software, and DC Software has also own broad portfolio of specified foundation and soil analysis solutions. So if you are interested particularly in this category, please get back to us after the webinar. We will give you more information on those products of DC Software. Okay, then we have some other product groups that are not related to a specific material, as for instance a framework program. Here you can calculate framework structures in 3 materials, in reinforced concrete, steel or timber, both in 2D and 3D, and you can also make proof of stability. These are only several functions of this program. The next one is the building model Geo. It is a comprehensive program that allows you to distribute the characteristic loads over the entire building. Such building can either be entered manually or can be imported into the program interface out of the external models. We have another product which is called FRILO Beam Connector, and this is like an entry point for external models of architects and other structural engineering programs in 3D into the FRILO application environment. Thus, you can import an IFC file or a SAF file into FRILO Beam Connector. If it is an IFC file, you can convert it into an analytical model. And after it is converted, it means that the surfaces are reduced to the mid surfaces, like the building components are reduced to the mid surfaces and middle axis. And then such structural aligned model can be transferred to the building model. And in the building model, you of course have the material quality already, you have the geometry, you can apply some external loads like wind or snow loads or some service loads, and after all the loads are applied, you can distribute all of those loads between the building components from upper story to the lower story, and such individual components can be handed over to further FRILO programs for further analysis and design. Another interesting program is Continuous Beam DLT, and it deserves special attention because it supports 4 materials, and you can convert your system within the program from one material to another, from one cross section to another. You can calculate it as a reinforced concrete beam, and then you can think, okay, maybe I will try it out with a steel beam, select the respective cross section and make the calculation within the same solution. Slabs and walls by finite elements. It's also solid construction solutions. FRILO Document Designer also deserves a couple of words because it is a very professional and comprehensive solution for document management that is integrated into the FRILO application environment. Here you can compose, you can create overall output documents containing the results out of different items calculated in FRILO. For instance, if you have a building that consists of a beam, a slab, a column, you can calculate all of those building components in separate programs and then store the results within one project and then create one overall document related to this project containing structured results with regard to different items that you have calculated for this project. It has an extension which is called Statics to Go. It is a mobile version of your document designed in the document designer that you can take with you on the run to the construction site and can insert some remarks and notes to the documents created on your desktop application, or you can make pictures on the construction site and insert into your notes so that you can process the entire information when you are back to your engineering office. Beam Connector, I already mentioned before, this is the connector, that's a program also in a FRILO portfolio that allows you to import external IFC and SAF files. And in case of IFC file, you can convert it easily with a couple of steps, automated steps, into an analytical model. Here is a list of different interfaces that FRILO is offering right now, and I have grouped them into 3 different categories according to their, let's say, function. The first category is the internal interfaces. As you know, as Alex already mentioned, we have a lot of solutions, over 100 solutions, to be precise, around 150 individual solutions. But of course, it makes sense to connect several such solutions to be able to transfer the loads from, for example, a column to the foundation, and so on. So on each place where it is relevant and makes sense, we have built in such connected programs functionality. It is a ribbon you will find in the upper menu panel, where you will find such programs that are connected to the program that you are currently using. One of the examples is the geo-building model, where you have all of the individual components that the building consists of connected to this model, and you can call them up out of the building model and transfer the geometry, the loads, and all of the essential information to the individual component design programs. There is also a central load definition program called LAS Plus. This is very useful for quick application of the same loads in different FRILO solutions. Like from the same building, you have the load library, and you can select those loads while you are calculating individual components of your building. Then we have some dedicated interfaces that are involved in different solutions that we are working closely with. In particular, we have the possibility of import of the 3D data from Allplan and return in finite element results for the slab reinforcement design. It's very easily like the AS values that are the result of the calculation of the PLT program in FRILO. They can be transferred via this direct interface to the Allplan, and in Allplan you can make the design of your reinforcement based on that. There are also further programs that are connected to Allplan, for example, B5 Plus, reinforced concrete column. Apart from that, there is a possibility of very smooth and seamless transfer of the foundation geometry, material, soil parameters, and loads from CA Engineer to FRILO FD Plus, which is foundation program. And this is not only one program, because out of FD Plus, via internal interfaces, you can reach to all of the kinds of the foundation programs that we have available in the FRILO portfolio. We have planned for the nearest releases the extension of the interface with CA Engineer, because we have set up the so-called engineering alliance together to be able to offer both 3D and 2D calculation possibilities for our customers. So the next interfaces that are planned is the connection of the FRILO masonry programs and of the timber joint. Apart from that, we have the transfer of 3D data from the geo-building model to SIA, like the other way around, because it makes sense in case of extended seismic design, in case of some buildings where we have the stories not exactly over each other. We need some extended processing or analysis, and this is supported by a 3D model of the CA Engineer. So you can get the model from Geo in FRILO and hand it over to CA Engineer for the extended seismic design. The last one dedicated interface that is worth mentioning is the interface with SEMA. SEMA is the solution for CAD and CAM design. It means it is CAD, you know, and CAM is computer-aided manufacturing. So you can bring the information or send the information from your model to the machines that are producing some timber components, for example, timber beams. And this solution has an integrated FRILO static package, which includes the solutions for roof calculation. So you can calculate such roof that you have designed in SEMA. Before you put it in production, you can check if the roof is stable and will hold or cope with the loads that are applied to this roof. And the last category is the universal interfaces. It is, of course, the already mentioned 3D model import via IFC and SAF files into the FRILO BIM connector. We support these standards. It means each solution that can generate such files can produce the input for our FRILO BIM connector. We have tested it with SIA, of course, Allplan, Archicad, Vectorworks, DCAD, Revit, and other solutions, both in both the file types, IFC and SAF. And the last one are the standard formats that are used in the exchange between some application engineering and in architectural field, like the XF, FOL, XML, Excel, ASCII, and so on, depending on the FRILO solution. What is coming next? Our live demo of the FRILO user interface. So I will now switch to the FRILO application and show you how a normal FRILO user starts working with FRILO. After you click on the icon of the dice in your FRILO installation, so if you installed FRILO, you have this icon on your desktop. And after you click on it, you are routed to this first screen where you can manage your configuration settings. Oh, I don't know why it's now, yeah. So these are this hamburger menu lines, and here you can access your configuration. In the configuration, it is worth mentioning the possibility to set up a language independently for the user interface, so the area where you're working with the programs, and for your output. Output language is the language in which your results report is produced in your FRILO solutions. The third language is the language of administration. This is this area here where we are now checking this configuration settings. There are some further tabs like service, where you can have a look at the recent patches, or have some installation information or maintenance information, or initiate your statics to go connection with the mobile app. In the licenses tab, you can have a look at your licenses. You can upload the new license that you have just bought, for example, and you can manage your licenses in the license manager in case you are using FRILO on different working stations. You can check if somebody else on another working station had blocked one of the licenses. So this is then visible in this license manager. In the releases part, you can get from either the current installation or from the FRILO web server the release that you are interested in. It is useful in case if you have bought a license of a previous FRILO release without a software service agreement, which I don't recommend, because of course software service gives you all of the updates and the free of charge hotline. But in case you have some older version of FRILO and you have reinstalled your FRILO application, then you can get it from the server. In the databases tab, you can create a central database for your projects where multiple employees, multiple engineers can work with the same project in the same repository. So these are like the things that you can configure for yourself in these configuration settings. If you click on the Start FRILO Control Center, you will be transferred to the main screen of the FRILO user interface. And now it is starting, I hope, on the right screen. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, it's not on the right screen, so I have to pull it here. Okay. The main screen of the FRILO program environment contains the very long list of different FRILO solutions. If you remember, these are around 150. But you can limit the display of the programs to a certain category. The first category is FRILO favorites, and here you can store the solutions that you need more often. And there are some like general solutions that do not belong to any of the categories, like FRILO BIM connector or the building model. Then we have such categories as reinforced concrete solutions, framework design, steel construction, long list of solutions, timber and roof divided into timber construction and rooftop, slabs and walls by finite elements, soil mechanics and foundation programs, masonry design, load programs, and the toolboxes. Toolboxes are simple calculation sheets. These are very really simple and cheap programs, but they replace your manual calculations or calculation in the Excel files. These are very useful, like everyday small solutions for the structural engineers. So this is the area of programs, and as you can see in the upper panel, there are some further tabs. Folder, projects, and items. All three tabs, they refer to the project management environment. If I click between them, my display here is not changing, only the options are changing, these ribbons on the top, and they are related to folders, projects, or items. Folders can be found on the left upper corner. You have the folder structure where you can create your project folders. You can create as many subfolders as you wish. And in these folders and subfolders, you can store the projects that you will find on the right side. For example, in the folder Poland, I have some demo projects that are designed for Poland. But let's go back to international. Okay. And within each project, which is displayed here in the upper right area, we have some items that we have calculated for this particular project. It could be, for example, one building or a building complex, and all of the calculations related to this building or building complex, you would store in this project, and they will be then displayed here with a preview on the left side. Next to our items, in the lower area, we see this symbol of a bookmark. It means that this item is included to the document designer. Document designer, as you remember, is this overall output document containing the results out of different items. So if something is included into my document and should be printed as a report, it should be added first to the document designer, and then it gets this symbol on the left side. Before I jump into the document designer, I will show you how you can work with an example program. Let's select some popular program. For example, in the reinforced concrete design, we have a reinforced concrete column. To start the program, you have to double click on it. And first that you see, it is the so-called wizard or assistant. Here you can already pre-configure the system, preset your system parameters. In the case of column, these are the type of our column, of the support, for example, the cantilever column. Then you can select the number of column sections. Let's leave it by 1. Section length, it's maybe type 3 meters. Concrete quality. In the next section, we have the cross-section dimensions and the cross-section type. You can also select round if you would like to. And in the loads area, we can enter some loads. Let's enter a couple of loads to calculate an example column system. Okay, then we click on OK. And we are directed to our user interface of the column design program. Here, the biggest part of the screen is occupied by the graphics, but it's not only graphics, it is a interactive graphics. It means you can here in the graphics change some active fields, for example, the loads or the dimensions of our column. And under the right click, you will find some further context menu with the settings related to the element that you have just clicked. So in principle, you can work only with this dynamic and interactive graphics. But if you prefer to work in another way, you can use the tree structure on the left side, and you can go through all of these categories of properties step by step, entering your properties or adjusting the default properties. For example, you can select the design standard. Let's select a pure Eurocode. Then in the system part, you can set up your supports, foundation, attached columns, if any. Then you have the loading part with some simultaneous and alternative load groups, load cases. User-defined actions can be defined here. In the design area, you can, for example, select if you would like to conduct the fire design. Let's select fire design via finite element method. And as you can see, if I click a certain setting, here in the bottom part of the screen, I have the explanation what it means. What does it mean that I selected the finite element method of the fire design? So all of these tooltips on on the left side are available either if you come over with a mouse over a certain setting, or you can read it in the bottom part of the screen. Then we have the reinforcement part, where you can just design your reinforcement manually. And in the output part, it is worth mentioning that you can select whether you would like to have a standard output, a brief output, or a detailed output. You can compare what information is different in all of these output types, but in fact, like if you have a detailed output, we will have more information, for example, also the reinforcement graphics and maybe some fire exposure graphics, and you have to decide if you need it or not, and if you would prefer to have a detailed output or maybe a brief one or standard. Or you can make your own user-defined output, and then this output standard will be applied to the next columns that you will calculate with this program. By the way, this assistant or wizard in the beginning, you can also save those settings as a template and then use in your further items as well. Okay. So far to our system configuration and settings. After we have set up our column and have adjusted all of the parameters, we can decide if we would like to choose the calculation mode design, or maybe we would like to make a check, or maybe we would like to have a load factor calculation. Design means that the required longitudinal and transverse reinforcement is determined for the system and for the given loads. So it will be recommended which reinforcement values we need for this kind of system and these loads. In the check part will be a little bit different. You will check whether the system is stable and balanced with the given longitudinal reinforcement. And the third parameter is the load factor. It is saying the highest load factor that you can apply to the loads, and the equilibrium is still kept, is still there. So you can decide which type of the design or check or load factor you need for your calculation. Let's stick to design, close it, and now click on calculate. I have selected also fire design. This is why we have to, okay, we can adjust it here, the fire exposure duration, but let's just keep it as it is. Click on OK. Have to wait a little bit until the check is conducted. Okay, and after it is done, we can see here in the lower right corner that our reinforcement is not sufficient. You see in this design check method, we have the recommended values of our longitudinal reinforcement for fire design and for ultimate limit state by the program. So it means I have to increase my reinforcement to these recommended values. Yeah, we can try to do it. Let's just have a look if we can get these values and recheck our system. Maybe we will add some additional bars here and here. And in fact, we will see here already 1223. I don't remember. I hope this will be sufficient. Yeah, it should be sufficient. Okay, and then we will recalculate our system again. Again, fire design. Okay, now we can see that the equilibrium has been reached, and our reinforcement in this case is sufficient for our system. Under the tab results, you have some detailed results, which you can check here, for example, for different load case combinations. And here, according to the first order, without imperfections or with imperfections, so you can just get this program in demo mode and on your own analyze all of the results the system is delivering apart from this main results that are displayed in the main screen. In the document tab, you will find this output document, which contains both the system description with all of the important parameters of our column and the results. You see basic parameters. If we scroll down, We will find some durability requirements, creeping factor, and so on, and the loads, of course. And we have the calculation options description and the result area. If we change the output type, we will get respectively a larger or shorter document, depending if we select the brief or the detailed output document. Now I will jump back to our project management view and show you the document designer. So to get to the document designer, which is assigned to the concrete project, so the document is always assigned to the project, we have to double click on the project title. So I double click on it and FRILO document designer is opening. In the FRILO document designer, on the left side, you have the structure of your document with table of contents, which is done automatically and is adjusted dynamically in case you add some new items to your document or some new pictures, so maybe PDF documents, the table of contents will be adjusted. You can create multiple versions of your document. You can insert some additional, let's say, items. If you have some items that you would like to create in this point, you can create them, or you can select the items out of the list of the calculated items within your project, but not added to the document designer yet. It can be done here. For example, I can add the FT plus isolated foundation item results to my here document, overall static document in the first place. So where I was with my mouse, there it is added, in fact, so isolated foundation is added now under the table of contents on the first place. And you see in the table of contents, it is also appearing in the first place. On the page 3, the page number is adjusted automatically. You can also add some existing files at any level in your document structure, or you can create new files in the supported standards here, supported formats. You can add an item list, or you can add, for example, a title page to your document if you have any title page ready. So it is added already here, so you can create your role with your logo, with your company details, and always add it to your document. The same regards the header and footer. So all information here is dynamically filled out, and your template of your report document can be stored as a template here in FRILO and can be used for your project output documents. Another interesting functionality is that you can insert any kind of comment at any level of your document. Insert item. Okay, this is an item, but we have to go deeper into the structure. For example, here I would like to insert the so-called remark. And at this level, after graphics 2D, I can type something. I can also paste some image here or a table, embed a table or some extra characters. So in principle, I can store anything here at this remark level, save and exit, and then I will find it in my document structure directly after the graphics, which I have to activate first. I have deactivated it. Okay, so let's have a look. System, here is the graphics, and here is my text, as you can see on the right side. So this is what I have typed now into the comment field, into the note field. So this is pretty useful tool. In fact, you can put it within the one page of the document, and then all the rest of the pages will be adjusted. This checkbox symbols on the right side of each of the items and item sub categories and sections can be activated or deactivated. So in case you have some isolated foundation calculated, you can decide with regard to each of these levels if you would like to include it into your report or not. And again, if you remove it, the whole document will be again re-planned, and the page numbers will be adjusted accordingly, and the table of contents will be adjusted accordingly. Okay, so that's it, what I wanted to show you in our live demo. So let's close FRILO and go back to our presentation. The next part belongs to Alexander. So Alexander, you're welcome to take over and to tell our audience a little bit about FRILO trial version.
Okay, now to the trial version, which you can download on our webpage. You just go on frilo.eu. There you can see the button, the free trial. Now you have to put some information like your name, city, country, email address. And then afterwards you get a confirmation email with the registration, how to download the app, and also some helpful materials. If you try this trial version, you have a 30-day period for each individual program. And afterwards, if you decide to buy it, it's possible to take your project to the license version. Now our licensing model, we have the floating web license. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect if you want to work flexible. You just need an internet connection and you can install your license on several devices. If you want to work on one device, you can start it, then you have to close it to work on another device. So you don't have to buy multiple licenses, which makes it also better for your budget. The next page, you can see our Wiktoria, can you press on the next one, please? Exactly. We have the perpetual and the subscription module. The perpetual one, you have an unlimited access to your product, and we also have the subscription model. Also, it's possible to conclude. You have the option of concluding a maintenance contract, the so-called software service agreement. It includes free technical customer support, continuous software maintenance, and you also have access to the latest version. A monthly fee that depends on the number of licenses you've bought is charged for the term of the maintenance contract. And the advantages of the subscription model is that you have a low startup cost and you can use it very flexible because it's only for a minimum term of 1 year, but you can also purchase it for like 3 years. Then the price gets lower, of course. Yes. You can also check out our web shop where you can see our new programs with our different modules that we have. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.